To begin making this lizard, the supplies you will need will be a glue stick, a scissors, 2 sheets of paper. One of them can be a scrap sheet, but the other one you have to use the whole sheet for the body, and a marker, or just get colored markers to accent your body or your feet. The first thing we want to do is determine our 2 folds. We have a long fold using the long sides of the paper to fold together, and we have a short fold using the short sides of the paper. For the body, the long body of our lizard, we're going to fold the paper the long way. That means I took the 2 sides that are long on the rectangle and I put them together and created a fold in the middle after I matched up my corners. This nice cake doesn't do this very slowly. This next piece, I'm going to turn it so I have my 2 short sides. I'm going to fold this the short way by putting the 2 short sides together and lining up my corners and creating the fold this way. Now, I also know that I have to fold this for other parts, but I'm going to be cutting this in half. So we're going to take care of getting our arms and our legs set up before we start with the body. So the first thing we're going to do once we made that fold on the yellow paper, or on the second paper, which is our arms and legs, we're going to cut it in half. The half that we're going to use for the head, we're going to fold it in half so we can make 2 head pieces, one for the top and one for the bottom. So you fold it in half, and you're going to create the shape of your lizard head. It is a triangle shape, but it is a soft triangle, which means it has soft corners. So I'm going to start by creating a line going across the middle, and then I'm going to curl it down to the bottom middle, and another one down to the bottom middle. And this is the triangle shape, but I know that my lizard could probably be a little softer and a little shorter. If you want to wait on drawing this out, I'm just showing you the main shape. You can do so and wait till you get yours figured out on your green paper so you see the size of the head. Okay, once you have that put down on the yellow paper, set it aside because we'll cut it later. The other yellow paper is going to be our feet. The feet, you need to fold your paper in half, and then you need to cut it in half so you can do 2 feet at a time. Or if you feel confident enough to cut all 4 of them together at the same time, then you can do that, but I like to do 2 at a time. So I'm going to take each one and fold it in half, and then I'm going to be drawing on both of them the same shape. I've drawn this many times. I'm using a marker. I suggest that you take the time to draw them with a pencil, so if you make mistakes, and the same with the head, if you make mistakes you can erase it. We're going to draw the number 7. We're going to start the 7 on the edge of the paper, and we're going to come down. So I'm using my finger to show you that I'm going to draw out and down. I'm going to stop short because I want to put feet there. I'm going to do another 7 inside that one, and then I'm going to create my feet. Now this looks like a human hand, so maybe I want to change it a little bit by coming in a little bit narrower and maybe 3 fingers like that. So I just did 2. I just made one for 2 of them. I'm going to make the back one and do pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to come across and down. I'm going to come across, and I'm going to kind of narrow it in, and I'm going to do 3 fingers, 2, 3. Now one of them you might like better than the other. One of them you might want to use for the front feet, and the back feet the different one. So now I have 2 sets of these. I'm setting them aside to cut them later. We folded our body paper. Now this is where we really have to remember and listen about our fold line and where it is, because it makes a lot of difference. And there are mistakes that are made if you don't remember what you're doing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a diagonal line as straight as we can from one corner to the opposite corner on the far side of the paper. It's going to be a diagonal line. So no matter where you put your diagonal line, whether the fold is on your left side or the fold is on your right side, you still have it starting at the fold on a point. So I'm going to come back down, and I'm just going to draw my diagonal line as straight as I can. Once I got the diagonal line set there, I'm going to cut my paper on the diagonal line. I open this up, I have a large triangle. Miss Nice is going to use the marker side that she drew on as the side to show you all the diagramming, but you don't have to use the same thing. I like to show you where my middle line is while I'm doing videos, so you see that. So I'm going to draw on the middle line so you know where it is. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Each side of this triangle has to be folded into the center line. So to do that the way it works best is you take your whole side and roll it. Don't pull it on one end, just take the whole side and roll it and bring it right into and on that middle fold line and fold it down. Open it up and bend it the other direction a little bit and flatten it out. On the other side, you're going to roll it again. And you're going to roll it to that middle fold line, which is the black line that I marked. Now, we have those two folds in there. Those folds are going to be used for a guideline. So the next step is we're going to cut a flexible section such as this. We're going to make these cut lines. So what this does is we take our lizard, and with our lizard we fold it in. We're going to continue to use our folds, and you're going to be cutting into your fold line. Because I have my black line here, I'm going to show you how it's done using my black line so you can see. I'm going to draw a line on this fold line so you can see what I'm talking about. I am going to be cutting lines in to this line here. I'm going to cut all the way down, and my lines are about an inch, or not an inch, but a finger thickness. And I'm going to continue to do those all the way down. You do not have to mark them, you just have to take your scissors and cut into that fold line. And now I'm going to stop once I get closer to that part of the tail. Otherwise it might get cut off. So I got that fold all the way down there. Now what I'm doing is I'm turning it the other direction. You basically have to roll your papers together. See how I'm rolling the back together like this? This is the bottom side of your lizard, and this is the top side. So in order to get your paper to roll and glue together, you have to put glue on one of these tabs. I'm going to glue the whole tab as much as I can, and then I got to wait for it to dry. It does not hold very well for very long, so I have to put the two together, carefully put the two together and pinch them together. Oops. And we're gluing our tabs down. And I'm using my Lizzard back to help hold down where the glue is. And inside there. As you do that, you should take and check your cuts to make sure that they are all going all the way down to the fold, like this one is not. So come in there and sniff it. Only because I want to make sure I can roll my paper. And in the process, keep trying to get that glue to glue down. Before you add your arms and your legs, cut off the two little triangle tabs here that show up on that side, on the open side. So we're done with the body. Now we're going to be adding our arms and our legs. I'm going to put my arms and legs on last. We're going to add on our head. So first thing first, I'm going to cut out my head to see if it's the right size. If it's not the right size, trim it. I'd rather see you make a bigger head and then kind of have to trim it down. So basically one of them should go on the bottom side, but not too, it shouldn't stick out too far. And then one should be on the top. I like folding them in half and seeing where there's a overhang, and it makes them look the same then from side to side. And there's that one. Do the overhang on this one. Roll them together so they kind of match, and trim. So I'm just going to set the bottom one maybe on the inside, maybe on the outside of my head, and or outside of my lizard body. And then I'm going to put my top one on. I'm just going to give it a little pinch so it sits on the fold there. Glue the tab down and put it on. And if you want to get your eyes on there first before you do, you should. I forgot to do that because it's going to be much more difficult for me to draw my eyes on after I glue it. So I gotta get that to stick down. Get my eyes drawn on. I made almond-shaped eyes with a little mark inside of it as a way of showing that it has a lizard, has his eyes adjust for night and day like a cat. And I put it on here, put it on that first tab, hold it down, glue it, and there it is. Adding a tongue on the inside. It's just a piece of paper. Maybe it's a piece of white paper with some color on it, maybe orange, maybe green. And that's how you put your tongue on. Cut it a long piece and add it on there. Now for the arms, I'm going to take my arm that I folded in half and I'm going to cut it out. So when I glue down my arms and legs, I have my toes that are facing the nose, and then the back feet, I'm going to have my toes face the tail when you put it on. Okay? And there is the lizard, all completed.